There's a reason you take your phone into the bathroom. There's a reason you unlock it at red lights, in elevators, between sentences. You tell yourself you're checking something important, but you're not. You're escaping. You're not afraid of silence because it's empty. You're afraid of silence because it tells the truth. Silence is the one place where your mind drops the mask and shows you everything you've been avoiding. I know that fear. I lived in that twitchy, restless loop, chasing the glow of a screen like a man gasping for oxygen. Every spare second filled with noise, every quiet moment smothered before it could reveal anything real. So, I did the one thing modern men avoid. I locked my phone away for 30 days. No infinite scroll, no digital anesthesia, no escape route. I didn't find peace. I found withdrawal. I found agitation. I found the version of myself I had abandoned. And in that discomfort, a truth emerged like a blade. You're not afraid of boredom. You're afraid of meeting the man you've become. Stay with this, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you what happens after the withdrawal, after the relapse, and how a man rises from the chaos to reclaim his internal throne. The withdrawal doesn't feel like discipline, it feels like sickness. The first 24 hours hit like a punch. You sit down to work and your hand moves on its own, reaching for the phone, checking for a vibration that never happened. You unlock the screen, see nothing, lock it, and 10 seconds later, you're doing it again. That isn't habit, that's panic. Your nervous system is starving for stimulation. It's begging for the tiny dopamine spikes that replaced your ability to feel real life. Take them away, and your biology revolts. By day 3, the silence becomes violent. I sat on my couch staring at a blank white wall. No music, no podcasts, nothing to drown out my thoughts. Every minute felt like an hour. My skin crawled, my chest tightened. My mind screamed for a hit, any hit. You think boredom is emptiness. Boredom is withdrawal. Most men never push past this stage because they assume the discomfort means something is wrong. It's the opposite. It's the first sign that something real is waking up. This is where the truth hits you. You weren't scrolling for entertainment. You were sedating yourself. Every swipe was anesthesia. Every refresh was Novocaine for the soul. The feed wasn't giving you pleasure. It was numbing the heaviness you refused to face. Remove the sedation, and the wound underneath begins to throb. During that first week, I finally felt the wound I'd ignored for years. I wasn't bored, I was in pain. The pain of realizing how long I'd been running from my own life. Distraction is medicine. It just happens to be poison too. Without the infinite scroll, you feel everything. The tension in your chest, the sadness you laughed away, the loneliness you blurred with noise, the dissatisfaction you soaked in blue light every night. This is why your brain fights back. Because you don't fear being without your phone. You fear being without your sedation. The white wall strips away the illusion of control. Suddenly, you notice how restless you really are, how dependent you've become on stimulation, how fragile your focus has grown. And in that raw, uncomfortable silence, something unavoidable appears. The truth you buried under years of scrolling, the life you postponed, the work you avoided, the emotions you suppressed. Withdrawal isn't punishment, it's exposure. But if you can sit through the shaking and the itch, if you can survive the white wall, you earn something rare, a nervous system that finally belongs to you again, a mind that isn't held hostage by the next hit of dopamine, a presence that is no longer fractured, scattered, and overstimulated. The withdrawal is only the opening battle. The real truth waits in the next chapter, and it cuts deeper. Why do you scroll? Not the fake answer you give yourself, the real one. You don't scroll because the content is interesting. You scroll because something inside you twitches. A microsecond of discomfort, a tiny jolt of unease. Maybe it's a message you don't want to reply to. Maybe it's the quiet guilt of a task you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the echo of loneliness creeping up your spine. Or maybe it's the existential weight of an afternoon with nothing to distract you from the truth. Whatever it is, the moment that discomfort surfaces, your hand moves. Automatically, instinctively, like a man reaching for a cigarette he hasn't touched in years. This is not entertainment. This is self-medication. We've convinced ourselves that we are consuming information. We're not. We are sedating ourselves, using the screen as an adult pacifier. A baby cries because it cannot regulate its internal world, so you give it rubber to suck on. The baby stops crying, not because the problem is gone, but because the stimulus overrides the discomfort. You are doing the same thing. Every time the soul whispers, you shove a glowing rectangle into your own mouth. But here is the part men never realize. You cannot selectively numb emotions. If you numb the anxiety, you numb the drive. If you numb the boredom, you numb the imagination. If you numb the loneliness, you numb the hunger that pushes you to build something bigger than yourself. When you numb the discomfort, you also numb the greatness inside you. By week 2 of my detox, this truth hit like a hammer. With no screen to hide behind, I was forced to feel everything I had been ignoring for years. The regret, the insecurity, the lost potential. The parts of my life I'd buried under blue light and cheap dopamine. It hurt. It was raw. It was embarrassingly human. But it was also the first time in a decade that I felt alive. When a man stops sedating himself, the fog doesn't just lift, it evaporates. Suddenly, you see your life with a clarity that feels almost violent. You see where you've wasted your time. You see who you've been pretending to be. You see the gap between your potential and your reality. And you know, deep down, that no app, no video, no distraction can fill that gap for you. This is why most men never detox. They're not afraid of boredom. They're afraid of the truth boredom reveals. Because the moment you stop numbing yourself, something extraordinary happens. Your nervous system recalibrates. Your dopamine receptors start to heal. Your baseline shifts. The small hits stop exciting you. The cheap highs stop satisfying you. The noise loses its grip. And beneath that, something ancient wakes up. A kind of clarity you haven't felt since childhood. A kind of mental stillness that feels almost supernatural. A kind of presence that makes the world look sharper, richer, more real. This is the beginning of the return. Not the return of productivity. Not the return of focus. The return of the man you were before the noise. But clarity brings its own test. Because once your vision sharpens, something else wakes up with it. Something powerful, intoxicating, and deceptively fragile. And if you're not careful, you will lose it as quickly as you found it. That is where we go next. Around day 14, everything snapped. Not gradually, instantly. I woke up and felt nothing. No twitch, no phantom vibration, no hunger for the screen. Just silence. A silence so clean it felt like stepping out of a crowded room and realizing the noise was inside you, not around you. For the first time in years, I lay there breathing, present, unhurried, intact. No buzzing thoughts, no tight chest. The static I once mistook for my personality had vanished. Then it hit me over a cup of black coffee. I could taste it. Not caffeine, flavor, depth, reality. When you stop drowning your senses in digital sugar, the world stops feeling dull. Colors sharpen, faces gain texture. Silence becomes warm instead of threatening. Food stops feeling like fuel and starts feeling like life. But the real shift showed up at my desk. You know that invisible resistance, the gravity that pulls you off your purpose? Sit down, stand up, type, delete, tab out, check something real quick. Chase the micro hit instead of the mission. For the first time in a decade, that gravity disappeared. I sat down and worked for 3 straight hours. No twitch, no urge, just pure, clean forward motion, like a tunnel between me and the task. No drag, no friction, no noise. That's when the truth landed hard. You don't just lose time when you scroll, you lose power. Focus is a man's engine. Attention is the spear. Direction is the blade. When your mind fragments, your masculinity fragments with it. You stop being a force and become a pinball, bouncing between impulses you didn't choose. But when your attention becomes single, your life becomes single, sharp, deliberate, penetrating. People feel it immediately. Your presence thickens, your voice slows, your eyes lock in. Respect rises automatically because presence is rare now, almost mythical. This is the beginning of the king returning, the man whose attention belongs to him, not to an algorithm. But here's the twist most men never see coming. Clarity isn't permanent, it's fragile. It's a flame, not a crown. Feeling powerful doesn't mean you're cured. 2 weeks of rewiring doesn't mean the dragon is dead. It's sleeping. And the moment you get comfortable, the moment you think, I can handle a little scroll, that dragon opens one eye. The withdrawal wasn't the battle. It was only the gate. The real battle is the relapse you don't see coming. And that's where we go next. On day 31, I made the mistake every man makes the moment he tastes a little power. I believed I was untouchable. I told myself I had changed. I told myself I was in control now. So I whispered the deadliest sentence a man can speak. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to check Instagram. 5 minutes to dip my hand back into the digital fire. The phone unlocked. The screen erupted. Colors, movement, notifications. A casino disguised as a tool. My nervous system lit up like dry branches catching flame. 5 minutes became 15. 15 became 60. And soon I was curled in the dark, neck aching, eyes burning, scrolling like a starving animal desperate for another hit. Everything I'd built, clarity, strength, presence, shattered in one evening. And then the truth hit me. The dragon wasn't dead. It was sleeping, and I had fed it. Most men misunderstand relapse. They think it means weakness. They think it means they're broken. No, you're not fighting an app. You're fighting a weapon engineered by neuroscientists who study the same reward pathways triggered by casinos, cocaine, and pornography. Your willpower isn't designed to win that war, because willpower drains, discipline drains, motivation drains. The algorithm does not. It waits, it stalks, it ambushes. Relapse isn't humiliating because you failed. It's humiliating because it shows a truth men avoid. Willpower is a myth. Only structure wins. So I did what any warrior does after being defeated. I studied the enemy. Then I rebuilt my system, not for my strong days, but for the days I would collapse again. 3 rules, unbreakable, non-negotiable. Rule 1, the monk morning. The first 60 minutes after waking, the phone is dead to me. No apps, no noise, no portals to chaos. If you check your phone before you check your breath, you've already lost the day. Rule 2, optical castration. I stripped the phone to black and white. No color, no dopamine traps. With the colors gone, the addiction lost half its teeth. Instagram stopped feeling like a carnival. It felt like a newspaper. Rule 3, the hunter's exchange. No consumption before creation. I do not watch until I've built. I do not scroll until I contribute. Dopamine becomes a reward, not an escape. These rules didn't make me perfect. They made me sovereign. I stopped pretending the dragon could be killed. I accepted the truth. A man's strength is not in slaying the dragon, but in taming it. Every single day. But even that wasn't the deepest part of the journey. Because detoxing the phone is easy. Detoxing the mind is harder. And detoxing the soul, that's where the real battle begins. Everything changed when I finally asked the question every man avoids. Who are you without the noise? And that is where we go next. When the noise stops, the truth begins. Most men think the hardest part of detox is boredom. Wrong. The real battle starts when silence turns into a mirror. Around day 20, I woke up to a house with no notifications, no music, no noise, just a quiet that felt heavy, almost hostile. I sat on the floor with nothing to reach for, nowhere to run, and that's when the thoughts surfaced. Slow, cold, undeniable. You're not living the life you said you would. You're not the man you pretend to be. You've been hiding behind scrolling. Silence isn't empty. Silence is honest. And honesty cuts deeper than any withdrawal. This is why men drown themselves in podcasts, group chats, TikTok loops. Because if the noise stops, the truth speaks. And truth does not negotiate. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't care about your effort or your excuses. It simply asks one question. Is this who you want to be? In that silence, every regret resurfaced, every self-promise broken, every dream delayed. The mirror showed everything I'd been avoiding. I realized something brutal. Scrolling wasn't the addiction. Avoidance was. The phone was just the needle. What I feared wasn't boredom. I feared seeing myself clearly. Because clarity kills denial. Clarity kills excuses. Clarity exposes the gap between the man you are and the man you could be. Facing that gap hurts. But that gap is sacred. It's where transformation begins. When the noise finally fell away, a deeper voice rose, older than insecurity, stronger than impulse. A voice I had been silencing for years. It said, "Stand up. No one is coming. Your life is your responsibility now." Silence strips you. It takes your armor, your masks, your distractions, and leaves only the real you. But in that rawness, your strength returns, your courage returns, your identity returns. A man who can sit alone with the truth is a man who cannot be controlled by the world. He doesn't chase distraction. He doesn't chase validation. He carries his own peace into the noise. That morning, I sat with the silence for 41 uncomfortable minutes. And when I stood up, something fundamental had shifted. The world felt quieter. My impulses felt weaker. My direction felt cleaner. The silence didn't break me. It revealed me. This wasn't about productivity. It wasn't about quitting apps. It wasn't even about discipline. It was about liberation from distraction, from avoidance, from the false self. But the journey isn't over, because clarity is only the beginning. The next step, the final step, is turning that clarity into identity. When the noise dies, the truth appears. And once it does, you only face two paths: run back to distraction, or step forward into the man you were meant to become. Most men run. They feel the itch, the anxiety, the whisper. You could be more. And they suffocate it under an endless scroll. But you didn't. You made it here. You faced the silence and didn't break. That alone separates you from almost every man alive today. Now, hear this clearly. A detox isn't a challenge. It's a rebirth. There is no normal to return to, because normal was the cage. Normal was the reflex to reach for the phone. Normal was the numbness, the jitter, the scattered mind. You don't go back. You build a new baseline. And the new baseline feels like this. You wake up without reaching for a screen. You breathe instead of scrolling. You work without panic. You speak with presence, not distraction. Your attention sharpens. Your emotions settle. Your direction returns. Your life becomes yours again. But remember, freedom isn't permanent. It's a daily choice. Every morning, the old world will try to reclaim you. Every notification will whisper. Every impulse will test you. Your job is simple. Stay awake. When the itch comes, pause. When the silence gets heavy, breathe. When the old self rises, hold your ground. You're not fighting an app. You're fighting the version of you that settled. And now that you've seen the man beneath the noise, you cannot unsee him. He is you. He is waiting, and he's ready. If this feels like your story, it's because it is. Something in you is demanding more. If you choose clarity over chaos, breathe once and subscribe. Join the men who refuse to live numbed. And when the silence returns tonight, don't run. Stay with it. That's where the real work begins. And that's where you'll meet the man you were born to become.